Good morning. Well, it's Memorial Sunday, a day for remembering, a day for honoring those who have paid the ultimate price for freedom, for your freedom and for my freedom, and for the freedom of everyone in the world, really, who enjoys it. Let me talk about that. I want to continue the theme from Brother Daniel's devotion on Friday, this Memorial Day weekend. See, Memorial Day is a day to remember those who gave their lives in the United States military service. I don't know if you know, but there's been somewhere between 1.1 and 1.5 million servicemen and women who have died in that service fighting for freedom. That would cover the wars all the way from the Revolutionary War through most very recently. There are acts of heroism, bravery, self-sacrifice would fill volumes. There's volumes of things that we don't know that those people did in service for their country. You know, there was another maybe somewhere around 1.5 million people who were also wounded in those wars, some suffering wounds for the rest of their lives, some recovering, and then many who also suffered emotional trauma and wounds from those wars. All of this fighting for freedom. It was not for territorial expansion. It was not for oil, not for gold, money, wealth. It was not even for dominance over another country or to enslave them or to build an empire. It was mostly, as Brother Daniel said on Friday, was mostly about fighting evil, and especially in this last century. God bless them. God bless them all. God bless their families who have had to go on without them. So on this Memorial Weekend, may we remember them, respect them, and cherish and protect what they died for. It's been said there are only two defining forces have ever offered to die for you: Jesus Christ and the American soldier. One died for your soul, the other died for your freedom. You see, it is the soldier, not the reporter, who gives us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who gives us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who gives us freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. Freedom is not free. It has been purchased with blood, with sweat, hard work, with hardship, with pain, with suffering, with loneliness. The cost is very, very high. Though, if you think about it, and this is very sad, what is not paid for is not appreciated, is not cherished. It seems to have no value when people don't pay for something. In today's world, liberty is slipping away because people have no idea the cost to obtain it or what it will cost to regain it. Today's people mostly have not paid anything personally for this freedom, neither fighting wars themselves, nor having servicemen and women in their family and suffering while they're away and worrying and praying for them, nor having had family members who served. That is very sad. We've forgotten the cost. We don't value what they valued, and we don't value what God values so highly. You know, among our freedoms is the right to choose. We can choose Jesus Christ, or we can choose to reject him. God gives you that choice. After all that Christ has done, God gives you the choice to accept him and his sacrificial work for you, or to reject that. And as Brother Daniel stated on Friday, the Lord also provided those that will fight for, defend, sacrifice, and even die to give you freedom of choice. He discussed one particular hero that day, a man who was awarded the Medal of Honor for his sacrifice. I don't know if you know this, but the Medal of Honor is the highest award given in the United States of America, and there have been 3,465 such awards given, 618 posthumously after they were dead. But there are heroes aplenty. And there are heroes who are not heroes in the military, yet they fought battles to win your freedom, many who have died in the process. Let me tell you a few. William Tyndale. He translated the Bible into English, and they hated him for it. People did not want the Bible in the language of the common man. And so he was captured by the Catholics and put to death at the stake. And then his body was burned. But at the stake, he went with a fervent zeal, and with a loud voice he cried, "Lord, open the eyes of the King of England." And God did. John Rogers worked with William Tyndale. He too was captured, and he too was burned at the stake. There are also preachers that we can think of, many, many, many thousands. But there was James Ireland, Baptist preacher, who was jailed for 5 months for preaching the word of God. They tried to suffocate him with smoke, tried to blow him up with gunpowder, tried to poison him, which in fact did injure him for life and killed his daughter. They put drunken rowdies in the same cell with him, and he won them to the Lord. They had horses ridden over his hearers at jail. Because many of the Baptist preachers that were jailed would preach through the bars to the outside listeners. And he faced opposition everywhere he went. Obviously not by believers, by those who did not want people to have the knowledge and the ability to choose Christ. And there was John Weatherford. He was also jailed for 5 months for preaching, and during that time he had to leave his wife to take care of his 15 children, 12 of whom were girls. His hands were slashed by guards as he gestured to sinners through his cell window. So many people were getting saved from his preaching that the incensed magistrates built a massive 12-foot brick wall in front of his cell window to keep him from being able to preach to them. They went so far as to put glass bottles on the top with in the mortar so that people couldn't use that top area as a perch. They hated him so much. And of course, we know John Wycliffe. His persecution extended beyond his death. His body was dug up and burned along with many of his writings after he was dead. They hated him so much. Who hates that much? Who hates the gospel? The devil and those that he influences. And then there were some missionaries. The first that came to mind to me was Jim Elliot and his 4 missionary friends who went to Ecuador to win people, the indigenous people of Ecuador, the Auca Indians. He went to win them to Christ, and those very people that he went to introduce to Christ murdered him. John and Betty Stam, along with 189 other missionaries in China that were with either China Inland Mission or the Christian Missionary Alliance in China, were killed during the Boxer Rebellion, where crazed mobs rampaged through the cities of North China, looting and burning churches and the homes of Christians and missionaries. They were led by bare-chested fanatics called Boxers, who brandished long curving swords and cried for the heads and hearts of Christians and missionaries. Then there was the Apostle Paul, also a missionary. He said himself in 2 Corinthians 11:24, of the Jews, 5 times I received 40 stripes, save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day have I been in the deep. In journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. That was his life that he did to serve God, to bring Christ to the world. They finally beheaded him. Then there were others too. Some who were statesmen fought battles for our freedom. Of the American signers of the Declaration of Independence, 56 signers of that declaration, 9 fought and died in the war, and 5 were captured by the British and tortured to death. It was Nathan Hale, 21-year-old young man, caught as a spy, captured, and executed by the British, and many, many, many more. And so, I am not in any way diminishing the sacrifices of our military men and women by bringing these people up, nor would I take anything away from the day set aside to honor them. But it is not only the soldier who fights and dies for your freedom to choose the life that you desire with or without Christ. You see, today is not Memorial Day. Today can and should be Memorial Sunday, a day to honor the servants of the Lord who fought and died in that battle, that war with Satan, that war against evil, to give you the freedom and to bring the gospel to you and people all over the world. So tomorrow's Memorial Day to honor the soldiers who died fighting for your freedoms. But let today be Memorial Sunday, a day to honor these few that I just mentioned and the many hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands more, yea, millions, who have been persecuted and murdered and slaughtered in the name and for the name and the sake of Jesus Christ. But that brought the gospel to you today. It is these many servants of the Lord who died these horrible deaths, suffered awful tortures for his name's sake and yours, and many, many more endured hardship, suffering, and privation for his great name's sake. So folks, let's honor them. Let's remember them. Let's be thankful, truly grateful to God, who has placed men and women in the battle to secure your liberty and bring the gospel. Let us love him as he deserves to be loved, and let us dedicate our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor to him, to our predecessors who have fought for us. Think of them, honor them, pray for their families, and be willing to join in the fight, willing to sacrifice your life, willing to sacrifice your comforts, willing to sacrifice whatever that God has given you for something greater than yourself, the cause of Christ, which brings with it liberty. It is the Lord's day. Honor him today. Love him today. Meet in his house with his people to worship him. God bless you all. See you next time.